What celebrity hasn't indulged in a little plastic surgery? With all the possible procedures available at the click of a finger and an unlimited budget, we can't imagine a celebrity ever saying no to a little treatment here and there. After all, competition in Hollywood is tough, and the showbiz industry is notoriously shallow and superficial. Here's a roundup of the worst celebrity plastic surgeries. Can you guess which celebrity underwent 10 cosmetic procedures in one day? And what famous singer had low-grade industrial-strength silicone injected into her face? Keep watching to find out. 1. Simon Cowell. Known by most of us as the brain behind The X Factor, American Idol, and various other reality shows, Simon Cowell is one of the most recognizable faces in showbiz. But we have to ask, for how much longer will his face be recognizable? Over the years, Cowell has indulged in various cosmetic procedures, with many surgeons speculating that the music mogul has undergone Botox, cheek fillers, and numerous facelifts. Unfortunately, the result of all these procedures is not exactly extraordinary, or perhaps extraordinary for all the wrong reasons. Cowell's face, while free of lines, seems to be constantly swollen, with his eyes narrower and his eyelids and eyebrows significantly droopier than they were before. According to surgeons, an excess of Botox in the forehead can cause the eyebrows to droop, and this might explain Cowell's strange-looking face today. It's a no from us, Simon. 2. Renee Zellweger. Next up is Renee Zellweger, who caused a media firestorm back in 2014 after turning up in an Elle magazine event looking completely unrecognizable, with many speculating that the film star, known for her iconic role as Bridget Jones, had undergone numerous facial surgeries, including a facelift and eyebrow lift. Zellweger, who was evidently hurt and upset by the media interest in her appearance, ended up penning an article for the Huffington Post in response, in which she outright denied having had any plastic or cosmetic surgeries and criticized the media for their excessive attention on her appearance, accusing them of creating an environment where women feel self-conscious about their looks. According to a plastic surgeon, Zellweger's changed appearance looks like an excess of Botox in the forehead, which can radically shift the position of the eyebrows and give the impression of an eyebrow lift. In more recent pictures, Zellweger seems to resemble her old self again, suggesting that the doctor's theory was correct and that the excess of Botox has now dissolved. 3. Priscilla Presley. Up next is the former wife of the king of rock and roll. Priscilla Presley was at one time known as one of the most beautiful women in the world, with pictures of her wedding to rock king Elvis Presley being broadcast all over the world. However, when the aging process began, Priscilla was ready to do anything to try to reverse it. For reasons that remain unknown, instead of going to a legitimate plastic surgeon or doctor, Priscilla Presley had her face injected with low-grade industrial-strength silicone by a doctor who turned out to be a total fraud, and not even a real doctor. Injecting an industrial-strength silicone into the body is one of the most dangerous things a person can do in an attempt to modify their looks. It can cause infections, lumpiness, deformities, and even blindness, especially when the procedure is done by an amateur. Luckily, the fake doctor was convicted of fraud and sentenced to 18 months in prison before being deported to Argentina. Luckily, more recent photos of Priscilla show her now more closely resembling her pre-surgery beautiful self. We imagine that Priscilla probably gets her procedures carried out at a real clinic from now on. 4. Donatella Versace. Next up is Donatella Versace, one of the most famous faces in the fashion world and known internationally for having managed the fashion brand Versace after the murder of her brother Gianni Versace, founder of the luxury fashion house. In the 1970s and 80s, nobody could deny that Donatella was a natural beauty. She was revered for her gorgeous skin and movie star looks, despite battling cocaine addictions and sunbed addictions which ruined her skin. While to this day she remains in denial about having undergone plastic surgery, the photographs between then and now beg to differ. Most plastic surgeons are in agreement that it looks as if Donatella Versace has undergone treatments with fillers, which explain the swollen look that the fashion mogul has, especially in her lip and cheek area. It's also possible that she has undergone excessive Botox, giving her eyebrows a slightly drooping look. While we can't deny that her partying days, various addictions, and obsessive tanning have obviously had an impact on her appearance, as well as the inevitable consequences of the aging process, Donatella Versace is barely recognizable and should calm down with the cosmetic treatments. 5. Lil' Kim. Up next is Lil' Kim, the iconic female rapper who made her name in the late 90s and early 2000s, carving a path for women in rap and hip-hop and becoming one of the most successful female artists in a very male-dominated genre. However, Lil' Kim's music career started to fade out around 2005, coinciding with the period in which she underwent a number of plastic surgeries. Lil' Kim was honest about having numerous nose jobs, one for cosmetic reasons and the other due to damage done to her nose by a physically abusive ex-boyfriend. But given how unrecognizable the rapper is today, most don't buy the story that the nose job is the only cosmetic procedure the rapper has undergone. Some plastic surgeons have noticed that her face is noticeably fuller, suggesting potential fillers. Another plastic surgeon even suggested that Lil' Kim had undergone skin bleaching, as her skin is significantly lighter now than it was during the peak of her music career. Whatever she's been doing, she should probably stop. Heidi Montag. Back in the noughties, when The Hills was the hottest reality show on television, television, Heidi Montag was its principal star along with Lauren Conrad. Blonde, young, and beautiful, plastic surgery should have been the last thing on the reality star's mind. However, at only just 23, Heidi decided to undergo over 10 plastic surgeries in just one day. Her transformation was shocking, and her girl next door looks completely replaced with somebody falsified from head to toe and utterly unrecognizable. The list of procedures Montag undertook included a mini brow lift, Botox in her forehead and frown area, a nose job revision, a boob job which increased her cup size to a triple D, her ears pinned back, neck liposuction, chin reduction, liposuction on her waist, thighs, and hips, as well as buttock augmentation. Her surgeries were highly publicized at the time, with many pointing out that her surgery splurge was so dangerous it could have killed her. In recent interviews, the former reality star admitted that she now regretted having had the surgeries, and luckily, she has had no major complications from the procedures. 7. Mickey Rourke. Up next is Mickey Rourke, who after a successful career as a Hollywood actor, decided to try his hand at boxing. While Rourke enjoyed a number of successes in the ring, his foray into the violent sport left his face significantly deformed from the injuries, and he looked for a plastic surgeon to do some corrective surgery. Unfortunately, Rourke didn't pick the right surgeon, and ended up with a face looking permanently swollen and slightly deformed. On a positive note, many have appreciated his honesty about having had plastic surgery. Even though the actor turned boxer is keen to emphasize that his surgery was corrective and not cosmetic, it was still a brave thing to share, especially when he was at one time considered to be the ultimate embodiment of traditional masculinity. 8. Courtney Cox. Up next is one of the most beautiful women from the 1990s, Friends star Courtney Cox. During her time on the hit sitcom, Courtney Cox was the all-American girl next door, with her gorgeous dark hair and blue eyes, far from an ideal candidate for plastic surgery. However, Cox began experimenting with plastic surgery after the popular show ended, trying cosmetic fillers in her face upon the recommendation of a friend. When her cosmetic surgeon continued to suggest more fillers, Cox didn't say no, not realizing that the fillers were slowly but surely layering on top of one another, creating a puffy, unnatural look. After deciding to be candid about her procedures, Cox has now had all of her fillers dissolved and seems happier and more at ease with herself as a result. 9. Michael Jackson. Where would a list about plastic surgery be without referring to Michael Jackson? The 80s pop icon is the poster boy for extreme plastic surgery, but the story might not be as simple as some people think. Michael Jackson did undergo several nose jobs and was candid about it, with some surgeons also speculating that he underwent other procedures too, such as cheek implants, dimple implants, chin reshaping, and face reshaping. While others might also be convinced that Michael Jackson bleached his black skin until it was ivory white, many are unaware that Jackson suffered from a skin condition called vitiligo, in which the skin's natural pigment dissolves abruptly and randomly, creating inconsistent patterns in the skin and impacting greatly the person's self-confidence. While we'll never truly know what surgery procedures Michael Jackson underwent, his transformation is one of the most extreme ever seen in showbiz. So there we have it, the worst celebrity plastic surgeries. What do you think about our list? Was there a celebrity who should have been on this list but isn't? And if you were rich and famous, would you get some work done? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this in the future.